I am Leahcim Semaj, and I welcome you because you are now entering a very special space, and we call this space the Mind Spa. This is Mind Spa Radio. Huh? Why is this spatial special? It's not one of noise, but one of clarity. No pressure, but presence. Not of confusion, but of understanding. That's what this is all about. In a world that is constantly shouting, this is where we learn to listen again. Importantly, listen to life, listen to truth, and most importantly, listen to ourselves. Welcome to Semaj Spa Radio. I want to start by thanking our founding sponsor, the JN, people at Jamaica National Group. You know, they are very important motto. That says, we'll help you find a way. And that's exactly what we do at the Mind Spa. Now, you may ask, what exactly is Mind Spa? What is Semaj Mind Spa? Well, it's a network. It's radio. Radio is an important part of it. Now, we have a blog. There's also a podcast, but we take you far deeper. What this really is, it's a psychological ecosystem. How we understand each other and we understand the world. This is a space where mind, spirit, and science meet to help human beings do one very special thing: understand themselves. Why? So we can transform our lives. The more we understand what we do, the more control we have over the things happening around us. And we are so much more efficient as a result of that. Now, when we do this, folks, we become the best version of us. For over 40 years, I have worked with individuals, I've worked with organizations, I've worked with communities, I've worked with companies, I've worked with leaders, families, nations, and I've come to a very simple but powerful conclusion. You may ask me what this is. What could be so powerful? Huh? It's basic. Most problems are not due to lack of resources. Most problems we experience are due to lack of understanding. Basic as that. So people just don't need more information. We have information. What we need is insight. We need clarity. What we do with this. So this is a place where you can find that. You can think, you can feel, you can make sense of life again. That's what the Semaj MindSpa provides. Each piece is designed with one purpose in mind: to help you move from confusion to clarity, to reflection, from survival to intentional living. It's not about just surviving from one day to the next. No, no, no. Animals can do that. We want to be intentional. Now, there's a core idea around which we build this. Powerful belief that at certain points in life, clarity doesn't come from reading alone. You can read and read and read and read, but it comes from being understood. You understand what you're seeing, and those around you understand you. So, this network is designed to do that at scale, increase the level of understanding between us all at every level. This is the Semaj MindSpa Radio, because you know, radio is a very special place. It's a very intimate place. You can listen to radio, especially at night. It's just you and the airwaves. If you listen to me online, it's just you and your device. So it provides a level of intimacy in the communication. That's what we try to do here. We have a vision. The vision is quite simple but profound. We want to create a psychological sanctuary on the airwaves, in the media space. A place where people can come, not just to be entertained into distraction. We have enough of that already. But a place where you can come to be guided into awareness. In a world of noise, we offer something different. We offer clarity over confusion. We offer depth over distraction. We offer meaning over hype. This is not a radio show that chases trends. What's the latest this? What's the latest gossip? No, none of that here. This is a radio show that addresses truths. What do we know to be true? Truths about relationships, aging, identity, leadership, truths about love, truths about fear, truths about purpose, all the things that are important to our existence. We also try to provide a deeper vision. This platform is about something larger, much larger. One, the healing of individuals. Early in my professional life, when my first faculty position, when I was at Cornell University, I met a Ghanaian writer, Ayikwe Arma. He had just published a book called The Healers. And that book changed my life. Or should I say, it shaped my professional life. In The Healers, it says, look, healing of one person is easy. Anybody can do that. The ultimate work of a healer is the healing of a nation. So, okay, we will start with the individual. So if we can help you to heal, that's why we're here. If we can strengthen families, that helps the healing. But if we can help the transformation of society, that's the ultimate work of the healer. Because when people begin to understand themselves, they make better decisions. You build healthier relationships and you lead more wisely. Ultimately, we create a better world. Reasonable? You down for that? Now, every powerful platform must be anchored in values. These are our values here, and it will shape all the things we do at Semaj MindSpa Radio. The first is psychological safety. This is a space where you can think without judgment, judge you. We can explore without, so the views can contend, and we will help you to clarify. Another value, truth over popularity. We don't say what is trending. We say what is true. Some people will say things just because they get a forward, they get a hype. We say what we know to be true and can be tested. Another value for us is quite basic. Even when it's uncomfortable, truth wins out. We go for depth over drama. We don't chase sensationalism. We pursue understanding. We have respect for the human experience. Every human being is complex. We treat people not as less, but as reality. Another value, transformation. Not just information. Transformation. We will not leave here with just ideas. We're going to give you ideas. We will leave you with insights that can change how you live. Ready for that? Can you handle that? We provide continuity over hype. This is not just a moment. This is a movement. A consistent, evolving space for growth. Each time you share your time, in the same space that we are, you should come away a better version of yourself, one step higher. For those who are meeting me for the first time, I am Dr. Leahcim Semaj. I am a psychologist by training, but I'm a listener. Temperate is happening around you. For over 40 years, 4 decades, I have worked at the intersection of a number of things: psychology, leadership, human transformation, social development. From the classroom to the boardroom, that's me. From radio studios to community, that's me. My work has always been about one thing: helping people to make sense of life. That's important to me, important to you, I hope. But more than anything, I see myself not just as a speaker, but as a guide, a facilitator. What people need is not just a space where their experiences can be understood, named, and reframed. I find interesting there are times when I'm at a company giving some kind of a workshop, and somebody will come to me and say, "I can talk to you on a way, doc. Something I want to ask you, something I don't understand." If people have things that are bothering them, they need to find someone that they can. I am that person who help you. So tonight, as we begin the journey together, I invite you to not just listen, but to reflect. Not just to hear words, but to hear yourself within the words that I share with you. Ponder on them. Because this is just not a radio program. This is a space where your life, your thoughts, your relationships, your future can begin to make a lot more sense. This is the Semaj MindSpa Radio. We choose calm over chaos. We choose clarity over noise. We choose dignity over drama. As I said, I'm Dr. Leahcim Semaj, and the journey has just begun. You can leave your comments or your question. Just leave a voice note at 876-383-5627. Voice note with comment or question, 876-383-5627. Now, you can listen for a response next week. That's how we're going to do it from here on. We share things, and then you can now listen. Okay, you ready? Let's roll. Our first feature: when the rain brings fear, understanding post-storm trauma. I thought of this as a topic I want to start with because this is what prompted this whole thing. The trauma associated with Melissa. And a lot of people got caught up in, and rightfully so, how do we rebuild after Melissa? And I pointed out then, as I want to point out again now, is that the real part of the rebuilding is rebuilding minds. Rebuilding minds. And the more I listen, the more I visit, the more I talk with people in the affected areas. Yes, some builds have been built, but it's a lot to happen. But the problem is much deeper than that. Tonight we're talking about not just a storm that has passed, but the storm still exists. We're talking about the storm that remained. Melissa is gone, but the impact is still here. How many of you are still dealing with it? Because for many, the hurricane is over, but the fear associated with it is still falling like rain. Why for many people rain now feels like danger? Are you one of those? Do you know someone who's having that experience? Months after the hurricane, something strange is still happening. The rain begins and hearts begin to race. Big people feel uneasy. Children become restless. And some, the feeling of the fear that overcomes them and they can't explain it. Folks, this is not weakness. It is not your imagination. This is psychological imprinting. Huh? It is real. The brain has linked rain to danger. We went through a very rough spot with Melissa. The body reacts, the mind can understand. When the storm came, it overwhelmed our system. And now, even ordinary rain feels like a warning signal. It triggers back what happened then. We call this post-response. It is real. Not the full order, it's a response. A residual emotional memory that takes you right back to Melissa. Okay, what's happening in the brain? The mind remembers what the body felt. The mind remembers what the body felt. That's what the system. One we call the thinking brain, and the other part we call the survival brain. Now, during the hurricane, the survival brain took control. It doesn't reason. It just reacts to make sure you survive. The wind, the noise, the darkness, the loss of control, all of that gets stored. Not as logic, but as emotions and sensation. So everything that was happening around you during the Melissa episode is stored in the mind. Not as logic, but as emotions and sensation. So now, once you get rain, there's a trigger. A sound is triggered. Once you get thunder, there's an alarm signal in the mind. Once you get wind, the body starts remembering. And the brain says, we have been here before. Let's prepare for danger. Even when there's none. So rain or wind or thunder, everything just rises. And you're right back where you were before. It's real. You're not imagining these things. So, adult, what can you do? What can big people do about this? We start by saying you can reclaim control of your mind. Adults must now do something critical. You must retrain your brain. Yes, you have the capacity to retrain your brain. So here are 4 MindSpa strategies I want to leave with you. Because we're going to have more rains, we're going to have more thunder, we're going to have more wind, but you as the adult, you have to start by retraining the brain. Step 1, name the experience. And say clearly to yourself, this is just rain. This is not a storm. This is not a hurricane. Tell yourself that. Say it to yourself. Naming reduces the intensity of fear. You name it. This is just some rain. This is not no hurricane. All right? Step 1, name the experience. Step 2, control the body first. Now, how do you control body? Mind controls body. You start by breathing. Breath. You breathe in for a count of 4, hold for 2, then out for 6. This calms your nervous system. And you do it again and again until you start coming down. In for 4, hold for 2, out for 6. By the way, the situation you're in that is bringing tension and fear, this is a technique for calming them. In for 4, hold for 2, out for 6. The third step, limit fear conversations. Look, you have some people when them come around you, all them talk is what them afraid of and what going to happen and what going to happen and what going to happen. Stop feeding the fear loop. Limit those conversations. It doesn't help you. It just builds on itself and draws you down deeper and deeper into it. And the ways in which you also do, you limit the sense of input. Limit the storm talk. Limit the dramatic storytelling. Those things reinforce trauma. Step 4, create some safety rituals now. It starts to rain. It's evening, it's night. Immediately turn on the lights. Turn on the lights. Because light tends to connote safety. Play some calm music. Calming music. Whether it is love songs that work for you, classical music, lovers rock, religious music, the music that calms you down. Sit with someone. These are safety rituals. Drink something warm, a warm cup of coffee, a warm cup of tea. What you're doing, replacing fear with familiar comfort. So adults, I talk to you first because you need to do that first so that you can help others by helping yourself first. Parents, what about you? Children borrow your emotional state. So you, even though you are terrified, you can't be worse than children. Children do not interpret reality. They interpret you. So if they see you crying and fretting and worrying, you can't help them. If you panic, your children panic. If you're calm, they borrow your calm. It may not happen immediately. But eventually. So there's still be honest, but not dramatic. Don't transfer fear. Don't talk about it fearful. 2, give the children a role play in the process. Let them close the windows. Let them go for the flashlight. Come sit close to you. Action reduces helplessness. All right? Give them something to do. 3, normalize the experience. Tell them it's okay to feel a little scared, but we are safe. It's okay to feel what you're feeling, but we are safe. I'm here with you. You're safe. All right? And remember these things so you can practice them when necessary. What about you teachers? Because many of you know you'll be in school and the children, it's not just at night that rain falls. Huh? You're in the classroom after the storm. Teachers are now with stabilizers. It's to stabilize the. Now you got a number of things. Watch out for the restlessness when rain starts. You're going to have reduced concentration. You're going to see anxiety behavior. Once you see this, acknowledge it, teacher. Pause briefly when rain intensifies. Ground the class. Acknowledge it and calm everybody down, then return to structure. Routine is psychological safety. Don't get caught up in it. The storm will soon pass. The rain will soon pass. Talk about the positive side of rain. My goodness, I planted some color 2 weeks ago, you know. My color look glad for this rain. The crops glad to get some of this rain. Talk about what? Oh God, I get some rain in my catchment. My drum's going to fill up this evening now because of the rain. Give thanks. Now, how long will this last? This is the question everybody asks. How long? How long will this continue? This terror that we experience when there's rain, when there's wind, when there's thunder. The answer, it depends. For some, it will be weeks. For others, it will be months. But for a few, even longer. That's the reality. But here's the truth. Unaddressed fear lasts longer. So the techniques that we're giving here for you as adults, you as parents, you as teachers, you're helping for it to be addressed. It will reduce the time frame. Processed fear fades faster. Processed fear fades faster. Storms pass over the land, but there are storms that pass through the mind. The storms that pass through the mind last longer. And that's what we're addressing here today. We have to start controlling these storms. But here's what I want you to remember. Even though you are experiencing anxiety and fear associated with rain and storm and thunder, you are not broken. You are responding. Your response with awareness, with calm, with intention. You can teach your mind that the rain is get back to that. Alone, you can get back to. So, what am I saying? We do not run from the storm. We understand it so we can rise above it. If tonight's message touches something real in you, leave a voice note. Share a comment or a question. If you know someone who is going through this, share the techniques with them. You can help them too. And then listen for the response next week. Stay calm, stay grounded, and remember, the best is yet to come. So each time we meet, we will have at least 2 features to share something useful that you can apply to your life. You can make things meaningful. So we now move into our second feature. Now, this is a little more touch you at a personal level. And it's a question that we don't usually address. Here's the question. What if I love you? Those 3 words actually meant something specific. Those are 3 words that most adults use many times in their life. What do you mean by those words? Hmm? Welcome to the Mind Spa. If you're just tuning in, where we create a space for clarity, for truth and transformation. Again, tonight we step into one of those most beautiful and dangerous phrases in the human experience. I love you. When was the last time you had an analysis of this term? I love you. 3 words: soft, warm, familiar, and yet for many people, deeply misunderstood. I love you. Why do I say that? Well, first of all, we say these words very easy. I love you. I love you. I love you. All the time we use these words. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of the time when two people say these 3 words, they're not saying the same thing. When you say I love you to someone, guess what? What they're hearing, how they interpret it, more often than not, is not exactly the same way that you said it. Now, let that sink in. Words that are as critical as that can be so confusing, so confounding. Yep. Because what sounds like agreement is often silent misunderstanding. When you say I love you, you're not just expressing an emotion, you're actually entering an invisible contract with the person that you're sharing those words with. A contract that is never written, never discussed, never clarified. And yet, this is a contract fully expected to be honored. Each person silently translate. So somebody says, I love you. Translation for one person, well, what I need, that's what you put in. You fill in that. What I expect, what I deserve, what I hope you'll become. So while you think you're sharing love, what you're doing is actually exchanging an unspoken agreement that the other person is filling in what I call a blank check. Let me give you the truth clearly. These 3 words, I love you, is often an emotional blank check. A blank check you hand to someone. And guess what? They fill in the amount. They fill in the currency. But here's the problem. You never quantified. You never defined. You never agreed. You never agreed on the value or the currency. Worse yet, you never even clarified that your account has funds. So when you say I love you, your partner fills in loyalty, emotional safety, consistency. Another writes freedom, passion, excitement. Same 3 words, I love you, come different meanings. The problem comes now is when there's a test. The breakdown happens when I love you goes beyond being spoken. The problem comes when it is now being tested. When life makes a demand, show me what you mean. Show me what you meant by those words. One person now says, but you promised this. Another response, that's not what I meant. Now we have hurt, we have confusion, We have betrayal, but listen carefully. Often, no one lied. The problem, the terms, the three words were never ever defined. You never. What's the real problem in this, folks? Most relationships don't fail because of lack of love. They fail because of lack of clarity. You weren't clear what you were offering this other person. You weren't clear what you expected, what you wanted, what you would do, what you would not do. When people fall in love, they fall in love with interpretation or projection or hopes instead of capacity. Now, is it possible that we could make a change? Is it worth doing something differently? Now imagine this. Instead of just saying, I love you, what if you said, I love you, and for me, that means, and you specify, I will be faithful to you. I will prioritize this relationship. I will tell you the truth. Is that asking too much? But then you ask the other side, well, what does love mean to you? Now, we are no longer exchanging poetry. We are building alignment. Now, am I asking too much? Is this an impossible task? Because for so long, we have used these three words. And you wonder sometimes, look at so many people who what started out with this wonderful, I love you, I love you, I love you. Wonderful weddings. Because there are many times the whole event, the whole relationship was based on a lie. What one person was saying, it was not clarified, it was not specified. It was just empty words, never tested. But then now, when the individual goes into testing it, now, are you willing, ready, and able to rise from this? Can you clearly express what you mean by these words, I love you? Clarity requires courage. Once you define what you mean by love, you can be evaluated. You can be held accountable. You can also be rejected. Because if what you are offering as your definition of love is not something that the other person has any desire for, I have heard some women say, listen, me don't need nobody to take care of me now. Me can get security guard. Me can call security company. Me have my own money. Anyone want to go into what I want to do. See if I come better than that. Right? So we really need to start to break it down. What exactly do we mean by this? This some men literally, when I say I love you, thing that you are fantasizing about. But guess what? Here's the problem now. The many people who prefer the love confusion. Huh? What that sound like? Huh? Beautiful confusion over the truth. And in fact, there are songs like that, the song, Tell Me a Lie, Tell Me a Lie, where persons say things like, they don't want to hear the truth. Tell me a lie. There are people who prefer not to know the truth so they can just fantasize. Are you one of those who prefer the beautiful confusion over the uncomfortable truth? So I tell you that what we're going to do with this program is to force in, think, and hopefully grow. Because these are some serious, serious times. And so tonight, before you say these three words again, pause. Ask yourself, what exactly am I? What exactly am I expecting? Love should not be a mystery. It should be a clear signal. Oh, is this asking too much? Is this something that you could actually test? You could actually make happen by, even with your present partner? Would you risk that? What if both of you this evening now, after listening to this program, it would be great if both of you are hearing the program at the same time. So let's say just one of you hearing the program. And you go home, Dr. Semaj was talking about this thing tonight on the program, and he was talking about how we use the word I love you, but we don't define it. What we're offering is a blank check. It's a blank check that we offer each other. And maybe what if we decide to move from blank check? What about if I tell you what I mean by I love you? And then you tell me what you mean by I love you. And let us see if we now hold each other accountable. Now, how many of you are willing to risk that? I have this fear, that so many people would rather live in fantasy, live with what they know is not true, rather than deal with the truth. Okay, you've heard this thing, the truth shall set you free, and maybe that's a literal statement. You truly knew that this person was not good for you. In so many ways, we know things about people, What about the mother who knows what the son is doing to earn money, to share with her? But she rather not know. She pretends she don't know. What about the wife or the girlfriend who know what the partner is doing? So there are many times that, we don't want to know the truth. But I'm saying that, listen, folks, we need to start to grow individually and collectively so that we can handle the truth. So that if we start today, when you say, I love you, what do you mean by it? And you specify. Because, this thing, people have different love languages. People have different ways of expressing love. People have different needs. There's some people who their love language is about gifts. Some people like to give gifts, like to get gifts. Some people it's words. Now, the important thing is to have a clarity what your partner means by love. Now, If you are not in a position to give the person what they need, then you have a problem. If you're in already and you're in too deep and then you want to build that relationship and to keep it growing, what do you do? How do you build on it? You make sure that what you're offering. I wonder sometimes how so many relationships actually get empty. They're empty. The people are together because they've been together and they've been together for a long time, and they don't know any other way. They don't have any other option, or so they tell themselves. Well, my thing is that when you are in a situation, when you're with someone that you've shared time with, that for you to do everything possible to make sure that by starting, this is almost be like a reset, huh? A reset. By if you with your partner, you know, after this program, you now ask the person. First of all, you start by telling them, I'm going to tell you what I mean by I love you. And I want from you, is it okay? Are those things acceptable? Is there anything else that you would need for you to believe that I really do? And I'd like the same thing from you. I'd like to know for sure, what is it you say? What is it you mean when you say to me, I love you? So that I can know, so that's what you mean. And I can tell you quite honestly whether or not, yeah, that's important to me. Because if it is not something that's important to me, maybe you need to know so you could make sure that what you are giving is what I am requiring and vice versa. So that, folks, I'm all for finding ways to build on what we have started. And I wanna share two adjacent points with this. One, over my years of counseling people and discussing ideas with people, there's one thing that stands out in my mind. And I found this more with men than with women. One of the biggest pain that a man lives with in through his hand slip away from him because of his foolishness. All the time people because of him stiff-necked foolishness. She required some adjustment. She required some modification of his behavior. And one, either he flatly refused, or worse yet, lying, deception. He gave the impression that he had made the changes. He gave the impression that things would have been different, but it wasn't. And as a result, the relationship died. Because relationships, folks, are living things, no different than plants or animals. Why? They have to be nurtured. You don't nurture them, they wither and die. You nurture them and evolve. So these three words could be a reset for you and your significant other. Because the person would know exactly what you mean. we can go even deeper than this. There are many of you coming and growing up, your parents, and this is more common for fathers, your father has never ever told you that I love you. Never. I've heard of situations some mothers have not expressed it either. But me do what I have to do. But we respond to love. So we can go beyond just the issue of just partners now. Big man. Again, what about telling your children that I love you and define what you mean by it? Operationalize it. What do you mean by it? I hug my sons every time we visit. Big man, when they're leaving, give thanks, my brother. Glad to see you. And you hug him. It's important. And again, over time, people will understand, they will infer from your actions but you can specify, you can spell it out. What do you mean when you say, I love you? You see, over time, we're going to come back to this word. What I want to do from time to time on the MindSpa, take things that are otherwise familiar, but we dig deep into it. Because you see, love is much more than a feeling, decision. Love is a judgment. Why do I say that? Feelings come and go. There's no one feeling that lasts forever. So that when you tell somebody, I love you and I'm going to love you forever, it's a decision you're making. Feelings come and go. Decisions are things that we commit to ourselves. So that I want to raise the level. I want to raise the level, the quality of relationship between us, just to make sure that we become better human beings. So we're saying that let's go away from the blank checks. You've offered blank checks. Let's clarify exactly what you mean. Just fill in the checks with each other. Share what you mean. And don't be a stiff-necked fool. Because if you're now finding out that what the person wanted to put on the check is not something that you had, now question, do you value the relationship? Will you now make sure that you can put those things on the check? And vice versa. We need to be honest with each other. And every time we do this, look, children live what they learn. The children see how we deal with each other. Interestingly, we talk about the impact of boys, the impact of fathers on boys. You see, fathers, the impact on daughters, powerful. Because when they see the relationship between mommy and daddy, that is the first model that they're looking at. For some, boy, I would love a man like my father, a man that treat me like how my daddy treat my mommy. But unfortunately, for some, what they'll be saying is that, boy, I would never like a man in my life like how my father. I remember some years ago, I was a guest speaker at a function. It was a 5K, the opening, and one of the persons there is a Father's Day 5K. And this individual, he was saying that, father is a very important thing, and his His father is his role model for what not to do. You hear me? For what not to do. So what I'm suggesting, folks, is that we can make something happen. You know? So summary of this evening's program. One, the storm that is in our mind, the storm that has remained. I've identified some options and some techniques for adults, for parents, for teachers. It is our responsibility to calm ourselves so we can help to calm the children. I'll be coming back to different aspects of how we can recover. The recovery from Melissa, the psychological recovery, is the long-term path that must go on. And we've introduced this concept of love. What do we mean when we say, I love you? So I'd love to hear from you. Did you test yours? Did you get clarification? Did you clarify what you mean? Did it work? You need further discussion like this? No, I want to hear from you. Leave a voice note at 876-3627. Question or a comment at 876-383-627. Or if there are any topics that you'd like investigated in the way that we do things at the MindSpa. Until then, you take care of yourself. You take care of yourself. Mind, body, and spirit. Remember, our understanding is that the best is yet to come. Wow.